and then you have winter when all the leaves fall off, and then you have spring when they start to bud again. So a yellow would be the time of the year when the leaves are starting to die, and they go from green to yellow to falling off. So a yellow would refer to a wood in the fall. It's the season right before winter, when everything dies. So when the poet says two roads diverged in a yellow wood, he's really referring to a time in his life. If you think of the life that we normally have, we have when we're young, that's like springtime. We're just starting to grow, and then that's okay. And then we reach young adulthood when we're robust and we're full of energy and our careers are going, and that's like summertime. And then when you reach a point in life when you start to get older, that's like fall. And then there's wintertime, which is of course right before we pass away. So when he says two roads diverge in a yellow wood, he's really referring to that time of his life. You know, when he's starting to think about, what should I do next? You know, as we go through life, we're faced with choices all the time. And so he is at a point in time when he says yellow wood, he is at a time in life when he has to choose, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? You see? That's what we mean by two layers of meaning. A yellow wood means a wood filled with yellow, but it also means something else. It has symbolic significance. Yellow wood would be like a symbol. A symbol stands for something else. You know, when we see a stop sign on the road, it's a symbol which tells us we should stop. We're constantly dealing with symbols. So, yellow wood. And sorry, I could not travel both. He has two roads. He has to go this way or he has to go that way. He has to make a choice. And be one traveler, there's only one of him. He can't go both ways. So he has to go this way or he has to go that way. And looked down as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. So he looks as far as he can down the road, but then the road starts to bend. And as it bends, he can't see beyond. And isn't that kind of the way our lives are? We can see some part of the future, but there's a part of our future that we can't see. So he's using these roads as a symbol to show how we're constantly faced with these choices. At this time, he's in middle age. He's what, maybe 40, 50, and he's trying to choose what he's going to be the rest of his life. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted where? So there are two roads. One of them looked like it had been traveled. One of them was grassy and wanted where? it had not been traveled very much. So he has two ways to turn in his life. One, which is what most people, the road most people would take, and then another, a road that was not traveled very often. Okay. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Okay. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. In other words, this morning when he is facing these two roads that diverge, one looks like it had been traveled frequently, another has not been traveled very much at all. On this morning, he has the choice. He could take either one, and both equally lay. In other words, it's a toss-up. He could go this way. He could go that way. They both are inviting. Oh, he decides. Oh, I kept the first for another day. I kept the first for another day. What he's saying here is that the first road, which looks like it has been well traveled, I think I'll take the other road, but maybe I'll come back and another day take that other road. That's his first thought. But then, yet knowing how way leads on to way, at first he thinks that I'll come back and take that other road, but usually when we pass up opportunities, we don't get second chances. You know, as we go through life, if we choose a road to take, very, very rarely can we go back and make that second chance again. You have to make a choice and stick with that choice. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. And look, we still have the same rhymes. See, the same rhymes, and we have the same rhythm. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trod and black. See, up and down, rhythm, it's like a song. We could put it to music. And then the last stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh. What does that mean? I shall be telling this with a sigh. He's telling us that in the future, he's going to remember having taken this road, and he's going to tell us in the future about the choice he had to make. Somewhere ages and ages hence. What does that mean? Somewhere ages and ages hence. This is a word that would mean like in the future. Years from now. This would be another way of saying years from now. But you see, as a poet, he wants to make the words sound peacefully and serene. So he says, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood. And I took the one less traveled by. And that's made all the difference. See, we still have the same rhymes. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. Now, tell me. See, a poem will have many layers of meaning. On the one hand, this is just a man walking around and he sees two roads and he takes this road instead of that road. So what? But it's more than just about his deciding to take a different road. He says, I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So this is the poet in the future telling us about when he took the road less traveled by. What does that mean? What does it mean to take the road less traveled by? What is the poet telling us about himself? See, two layers of meaning in a poem. What does that mean, to take the road less traveled by? Let me give you an example, okay? I'm retired.